3, 2, 1. Glory to God in the highest on earth peace, goodwill toward mankind. Welcome to Elk Radio. Did you actually know that they were the first words ever spoken on the radio? Those words just to start there, from Luke 2:14 of the Bible. Further to that though, the first program aired on the 24th of November, 1906, all those years ago. What a shift that must have been in time, a way for people to communicate or get information. The first song, if you like, that was actually played was Handel's Largo. It was played on a phonograph. And then Fessenden played Oh Holy Night on his violin. Just imagine families sitting around that radio, that wireless, hearing that communication for the first time. And that's very much what our Elk Radio is about. This is the Elk Radio Show 8. It's about delivering you, our Elk Pride, our members, the information they need to help get ahead. Now, the topic of today's show is, do you think that right now it is high hopes or a high hope for you to grow your asset pool? So, do you think it's high hopes or high hope for you at the moment to grow your asset pool? Let's break that down. So, what kind of people will we be talking about? What's the profile of people that might be listening to our radio broadcast? And it's probably about 3 or 4. But if I profile that, we've got people that are looking to buy a home for the first time, maybe first home buyers, or people that may be looking to buy a new owner-occupied home. So they're looking to grow their asset pool by buying a family home. Then we've got an existing homeowner that may not have had any other, may not have any other assets other than perhaps their super, and so they're a homeowner without any other investment assets of note. They might have a few shares here and there, but no singular financial assets that really make a difference to their asset and liability position, their statement of financial position. And then you've got existing homeowners with existing investment asset or investment property, and they're looking at whether or not they should and could grow their asset pool. I suppose the headline statement is, you need to grow your asset pool. If you don't need to grow your asset pool, you've got 5 million or thereabouts, or somewhere between 1 million plus, and certainly probably closer to 2 million plus in net equity and cash, and depending on your age, that either is or isn't enough. Now, if that's not you, then my statement at the start, back to that point, you need to grow your asset pool. So stop chasing returns and look at it and go, well, wait a second, what do I need to do? So for those in that first profile where they're looking to buy their first home, or they're looking to buy a home, a new family home or a family home, it's as simple as just walking outside, open that door, and you'll see it's raining money. There's literally money falling from the sky in the form of first homeowners grants, in the form of home builder grants. Actually, if you walk outside right now and check your letterbox, you'll probably see a check sitting there. That's how much money is being thrown at this. So in terms of, back to my point about the first radio program ever aired in 1906, well, it's 2020 now, and things have changed a lot. And what we find is that our lives are so busy. We're like ants moving our bits of dirt around and scurrying to get the food for our life to survive. And it's very difficult to get above it and have a look at what's really going on and seeing things for what they are. So Elk Radio is about helping people, certainly not ants, helping people, our Elk Pride, our valued members, very proud, working Australians that want to get ahead, positive people that want to get ahead, do that. But how do you do that when there's so much misinformation? Well, you listen to the information that's right. How do you know it's right? Well, it comes down to credibility and expertise. And what that expertise sounds like, well, it's based on real fact and knowledge, or whether it's just, flowing from someone's mouth. You fill in the gap there. So I had a really great experience yesterday with a town planner. And as soon as I picked up the phone talking with him, I could tell instantly this guy knew his stuff. He knew the detail. He went into that and he validated everything he was talking about. So much so that the confidence was there from the start. And without even needing to close me, I knew that this was a guy I wanted to deal with. Well, that's the experience you get with Elk. So if you're a first homeowner, or if you're a person that might be renting an asset at the moment, or living in a situation where they want to buy their first, well, not their first, their next family home, please walk outside. You'll see the rain coming down with cash. You'll see the cash falling from the sky like it's raining cash. You'll look in your post office, your letterbox, your PO box, your letterbox, and you'll see that there's money sitting there for you to take. You could almost look at your bank account and probably see a stimulus package sitting there ready for you. But you've got to take action. If you don't take action, and I dare say this is the best time in history to acquire that asset. You've got money in form of first homeowners grant, money in the form of new home builder grant. You've got, if you're eligible, waiving of transfer duty, so stamp duty. And that means that, wait a second, you could acquire an asset that's going to change your life and allow you to grow your asset pool with very little down. Now, you've got to meet the profile and requirements of a bank that's about to fund you, but I can tell you now that the government hasn't done all this without consulting with the banks. So if you want to find out whether or not you're eligible and how that works for you, contact Elk. We'd love to speak with you, because now the combination of interest rates with that money that's available being thrown at you, like imagine, what's that cash grab? Just close your eyes. Imagine you're in one of those machines. You open that door, it's one of those clear machines, you step inside that, and all of a sudden the air blows and there's just cash going everywhere. It's like a cash grab. How much can you take at the moment? How much are you willing to take? And if you're not willing to, and if you're not taking action, well, why? Are you not wanting to get ahead? Do you think you don't need to? Would you prefer to rent? And where rent at the moment is probably greater than what it would cost you to own a home. So there is a great opportunity for you to get into a new funding structure, so into a new loan, where you've got deposit and cost contribution coming mostly in the form of a gift from the federal and state governments in the form of these first homeowner grants and home builder offers. We can then take that as a deposit, combine that with some existing cash and savings, whatever you've got, as long as it satisfies bank criteria, and then from there, get into your new home. Now, wouldn't that be great? If your eyes are still closed, just imagine that. Imagine you're in that new family home or in your next home. Wouldn't that be amazing? So to do that, and I mentioned the word bank, don't deal with the banks directly. Let's agree on that. Don't deal with the banks directly. Contact Elk. We'll make sure we get you the information you need, a credible link to quality information, so you know exactly what it looks like to you and how you can go about taking advantage of this and not missing out. Now, the other profile was an owner-occupied homeowner. So a homeowner that's got some super. Now let's talk about that for a second. So look at your super balance and go, well, how old am I? How many years till I retire? How much has that grown in the last 5 or 10 years? Okay, well, that's pretty good guide as to what it should look like over the next 10 years. But then go, okay, well, with the current balance, let's just say that current balance receives a return of 7.2% each year for 10 years compounded. Well, that will mean it will double in value on that mathematical rule of thumb. 100 grand, $100,000 at 7.2% per annum compounded, invested back into that fund, in 10 years will be worth $200,000. And then you add your contributions to that, and you go, wait a second, let's multiply that again, maybe by 2, because it's 20 years till I retire. Add your contributions again. What's that going to equal? No matter which way you look at that calculation, I can almost guarantee it's going to leave you short. It's going to leave you with a shortfall for your retirement. So what do? Well, you can rely on the super funds to try and get a greater level of return. Is that feasible? Is that reasonable? Is that going to increase your risk profile? Or what else can you do? Well, you can try and save for your retirement. Well, what's the shortfall? Is it $500,000? When was the last time you saved $500,000? Or even if you're in a position where you've paid off your home loan, how long does that take you to pay off a $500,000 home loan? So how long will it take you to save for your retirement? So saving for your retirement, look, you should be doing everything you can to try and save money, absolutely. But it's not also really an outcome that's going to, well, it's just not viable. It's not going to happen. Let's have a reality check. It's not going to happen. So how do you do it? Well, you need to grow your asset pool. You need to get other assets working for you. How do you do that? Well, look at your situation. You've got a home. That home's got equity in it, and the home is the last great tax-free asset. You own your home. You sell your home. You don't get charged capital gains tax. So the last great tax-free asset, you've got a home loan perhaps attached to that home. And if you look at how much that home loan is going to cost you over the next 10, 15, 20 years, however long left on that mortgage, it's going to be expensive. No matter what the rate is, it's expensive. Especially when that money is earned in after-tax dollars, because you earn the money, you pay the tax, then you pay your mortgage. So the effective cost of those funds on the amount of money that you have to earn to pay the tax, pay your mortgage, it means your actual rate, your interest rate, your real cost of those funds, that money, is more expensive than the actual rate you're being charged by the bank. Because you earn the money, you pay the tax on that portion of money you're going to put towards your home loan. That creates a problem because you're working against it. You've got the tax you're paying, the interest cost you're paying. That's compounding. It's hurting. So you've got to try and get rid of that personal, non-tax deductible, bad debt as soon as possible. You try and pay it off using your cash resources and trying to do that over the next 20 odd years or quicker if your home loan is that long. So how quickly can you pay it back yourself? What's that mean to your cost of living? Do you have the ability to do that? Or even if you looked at that, that's just your money. You're leaving money on the table. You're missing out on benefits and advantages that are clearly, if you see it for what it is, sitting there in front of you, staring you in the face. And it's not luck where people that have got the money they need for retirement, that they've luckily got that. It's because they've made the decisions, they've been financially mature enough to go, you know what, I need to keep on doing things because I can't rely on my super to get me to where I need to be. And I can't rely on just paying down a home loan to get a debt-free home, that great Australian dream, and then being able to use some of the equity in that to downsize and get me to my next home because property is expensive. And as your property goes up in value, so is everywhere else. So you might be able to take a slice of that equity, but it's not going to be a strategy that works. So how do you do it? Well, it comes back to growing your asset pool. And is it a high hope to try and grow your asset pool at the moment? No, it's not. It's the best time ever for you to take those steps because there are benefits that are instantly available to you in the form of, one, tax minimization advantages. You can start saving tax if you do it properly. You can get that money back in your paycheck and put that money to work for you to help you pay off your debt more quickly, your home loan, rather than you just doing all the hard work. You can lock in at very, very low interest rates. Variable rates are very, very low. Fixed rates are even lower at the moment. So that's an opportunity to lock in the strategy. As an investment, if you're looking at how you grow your asset pool, well, what are your options? There's three. There's cash, there's shares, there's property. So cash means saving for your retirement. Well, term deposit rates are lower, just ridiculously low anyway at the moment. They're in the 1% mark. Rate of return on your bank account is bugger all. And your cost of borrowing is higher than that, so that doesn't work. And cash doesn't keep up with inflation, so cash loses value over time. Then there's shares, a fantastic asset, but certainly not something, in my view, you should look at plugging into your personal world and trying to borrow money against your house to invest in shares. No way in the world. No. I'm going to say it again. No. So super is a great asset to hold shares as an asset class in, or savings. If you've got that, yeah, put that to work. But understand that market, and I was flabbergasted to hear that people, some big name, what does that actually mean? People that had a profile, probably a better way to say it, were out there saying, well, thank God the bear market's over. Really? And people listen to you? Is that really what you've got to say on the front page of a magazine? Thank God the bear market's over. No, it's not. Because the market's starting to go back up does not mean the bear market's over. It is now a market of up and down. So it's a very volatile asset. So there's a place where that asset best sits, and that's in your long-term superannuation retirement savings account, certainly not attached to your home loan. You've got day-to-day cash flow pressure, the cost of living, the need to be able to provide for your family, which often means people spend all that they earn, interest rate risk that you can deal with now from fixing your interest rates and taking control of that. So again, is it a high hope to try and grow your asset pool? No. Take action because you can mitigate and take control of things like never before. So in your situation, you've got the ability to get access to just a sliver of that equity you've got in your home to put it to work. Because at the moment, it's probably not doing anything for you. It's not. If you've got nothing else working for you, it is not. And that's something you need to put to work for you. How do you do that? Well, you look at the assets that are available to you, and I think we got to the point where it probably means that a foundational asset that would, what means that the foundational asset that would be best for you would most likely be property, as long as it meets the right fundamentals and criteria. And if you look at that, for the last 20 years, it's been the best performing asset. So there's a reason for that. And why most Australians feel comfortable with that asset is because it is a slow and steady wins the race approach with property, and an asset that's built on the right foundations, the right fundamentals. Well, a property asset's built on the right foundation and fundamentals that gives you that long-term measurable outcome that you should expect to achieve over that 10 to 20 years plus. Means that banks will lend you up to 90 or 95% of property. They'll only lend you about 50 or 60% of the value of the share. So what do you think that tells you about the volatility in that asset value? And why plugging it in to get rates as low as, interest rates as low as 2 and a bit %, to get rental yields at about 5%, and then in the middle of that, getting tax savings against your taxable income, why that is the smart move. The smart way to grow your asset pool. Your asset pool, and it's certainly not a high hope. So I think that's put that to bed, wouldn't you say? Let's tuck that right in nicely. If there's a different way of doing it, I'd love to hear from people as to how they should start building their portfolio, and as a foundational asset, with all the things it provides, 90% plus of Australians, unless there's an exception, should be looking at that as a way forward. Then, option 3, or profile 3, is we've got an existing homeowner that's been able to take some steps, some positive steps to get ahead, and they've got an existing property asset. Now, it depends how they've done that and who they've done that with, because that could be cross-collateralized. It could be that they've got a home and a property at the same lender, and they've used all the equity in their home, or they've basically relied on that to borrow 100% of the purchase price and costs of the proposed property. You can always do that, but they've just lumped that into one loan, and it means that the contingent liability risk against their home is security. Well, that's the anchor, and that's where they've put a whole lot more debt against their home than they should. So you've got to break that. You should not be cross-collateralized. There's never any reason to be cross-collateralized. So we can show you how to fix that, where you have your home standalone, and you have it at a different lender, or at the same lender, but standalone, that property with a loan facility against it, and you've only had to use a small amount of your equity in your home to be able to provide the deposit and cost contribution that's already there, or that is to be provided for the next acquisition, standalone against your home. So it cleans it up. It reduces the debt load against your home, reduces your risk against the home, reduces your contingent liability. So anyone that's got a cross-collateralized loan structure in place, we need to speak with Elk. We need to fix that. Then from there, we go, well, in your situation, you may have experienced growth in the value of your investment property or properties. Have you looked at that? Do you know what the properties are worth? Do you know your current snapshot of financial position? And if there's equity there, well, that's great, because it means those properties have started to do their job for you, in addition to the rent and tax savings they've already provided. And that means then that you can go, well, let's take a bit of that equity first, because it's called backward planning. If you've got a home and you've got an existing investment asset or assets, we go, well, let's look at the investment assets first and go, well, what's their value? What's their loan? So that means, what's their lending value? What do you have available in lending value in the form of equity that you can put to work to continue to grow your asset pool? Because it's not high hopes to do that. It never is in most situations, unless your situation doesn't allow for it. But then we put a plan in place to get there. Because without a plan, you're just hoping, and hoping is no hope, because that is a high hope. If you're hoping, that's a high hope. You have a plan in place. So how we do that is go backward planning, we identify equity, and we go, well, let's look at what we can utilize that for. And is that enough? And if it's not, we work backwards from those investments to your home and go, well, we've been able to fix the cross-collateralization you might have, so cross-collateralization, or you won't cross-collateralize, and we get access to some of the equity in your existing investment and go, well, there's a little bit more needed, there's some needed from your home. What is that amount? We put that into a separate split, a tax-deductible purpose loan facility used for investment purposes, and then the combination of those two is what you use to go and grow your asset pool. Go, well, what will I use that money for? Well, the rules don't change. The business case doesn't change. You've got a shortfall. You've got tax you need to save. You need access to growth, open market forces. You still need access to open market forces. You need assets to be allowed to do their thing over time in the form of rising income, rising rents, and rising values. So the more you have, the greater access to open market forces you have, and the greater benefit you get from that. There's only so much $100,000 can do. There's only so much $500,000 can do. If you have a portfolio of some 1 million plus or 2 million plus in open market forces, structured right, that's credit-worthy, affordable, managed properly, then that gives you access to open market forces in the form of rising rents, in the form of rising values over time, to allow you to be in a position where you've got the best opportunity to have what you need for your retirement. And that's certainly not a high hope. It starts with a plan. It's called future-proofing. Every person at any point in time needs to future-proof themselves because, you know what? And this is relevant in some respects where, as a parent, I learned really young that it's about everything you do is about planning for tomorrow. Without that obligation, you probably just live for today, and you certainly should because tomorrow's not guaranteed. But when it comes to providing for yourself and for your family, everything you do, every decision you make should be based on preparing for tomorrow, providing for tomorrow. Like to know more? If you'd like to know more, please contact Elk. Ask for Ian. Ask for one of our team members, one of our valued high-quality associates. Elise, one of our executives. AJ, one of our associates. Matt, one of our associates. And there's plenty more to our team, led by Daryl, our CLO. So, guys, look, we're in Elk Pride because we're really proud. And we're proud to bring this communication to the Elk Pride in total, our members. Give us a call. Let's see how we can help because there's money available. There's benefits available. And if you're not taking action, you really need to look in the mirror and go, well, why? What is it that I'm concerned about? Why aren't I? And if it's fear or uncertainty, it starts with a discussion. Little bite-sized discussions to grow your information, your knowledge, your confidence. Because if you don't take action now, when will you? And is there a better time to take action in the future? Well, are rates going to go any lower? Is it a buyer's market right now? Is there an opportunity? Is there opportunity ever? Absolutely. Has there been a better time in history? Probably not. So I'd say, look, pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us an email. Thank you very much. Cheers.